Hey everybody, this is Evan Kester. Uh, BJ wasn't able to host or attend the meeting today because of an emergency, so I was going to step in for one last meeting. Josh, do you mind turning off or responding if you can hear me or not?
Good.
Okay. Uh, we've got 23 participants at the moment. It's 10 a.m., so good job for being timely, everybody. But I'm probably going to push this off just a couple minutes and make sure that everyone has a opportunity to join before we start. So we'll probably start in just a few minutes. Thanks. Okay, this is Evan again. I think that it looks like we're at 10:04 and pretty much the participant numbers have stabilized, so we're probably good to start the meeting. If someone wants to motion.
Evan, this is Adam Skibby. I motion to start the meeting.
Okay, thanks. And actually, Micah Cutler, are you here?
I am, and I am taking minutes.
Awesome, because Carrie wasn't able to make it today, so you're filling in your new role perfectly.
Yep.
Anybody want a second the start of the meeting?
This is Daniel Terry, and I'll second. Oh,
Okay, great. So we can get the ball rolling now. Welcome everybody, and thanks for all the new IGIC board members who want to participate in IGIC for the next 2 years. And thanks we have 2 new members to the executive committee. The incoming vice chair is going to be Penny from Boone County. BJ will be taking over as chair. This is Evan Kester. I'm past chair. Micah, who is at Clapsdale Garber. Is that right, Micah?
Yeah, Clapsville, Garber, CGA. I just call it CGA.
CGA. Is going to take over as secretary, and then Josh is treasurer and all things knower of IGIC also.
Evan, there's a note that from Lawrence Hartpence that the phone number is not working. Josh, I don't know if you can do anything about that.
No, there's nothing I can do about that. That's on WebEx's side.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, James. Hopefully you can log in through a link somehow. Since we have a new board, I think it'd be good if we go through roll call and quick introductions. And just to keep everyone from jumping in at the same time, since WebEx's and 30 people participating can be a little bit confusing, I'll just go through the new board list. And when I call out your name, if you wouldn't mind just saying where you're from and a quick introduction about yourself, maybe why you wanted to be on the board, favorite ice cream flavor, whatever comes to mind. So top of the list, Debbie Stevens from Indian Hills. Are you on? And you'll have to unmute yourself, I believe. Okay. There are a couple call-in numbers, so I'm not sure if that's Debbie, but we'll just keep going on. Daniel from Indian Hills, are you on? Indian Hills might have bad phone connections today.
sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, yep, there you go.
Oh, okay, Daniel Terry, an Associate Dean of the Career and Technical Programs at Indian Hills Community College, and we have a GIS program, so that's why I'm serving.
Great, thanks, Daniel. James Worm, it sounds like I don't think he has connection still. There's some chat information in the chat box. 1 second. Okay, we'll just skip James for the second. Travis from Franklin County.
Franklin County GIS Department, Travis Garish.
Thanks, Travis. Penny, I'm not sure if you were able to log in through the browser.
Yeah, I'm in. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep.
Okay. Penny Vossler, Boone County GIS Coordinator, and happy to be your new Vice Chair.
Thanks, we're happy to have you. Brandon Lane from Warren County.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Brandon Lane, going into my 4th year as a Warren County GIS Coordinator.
Great, thanks, Brandon. Greg Haddish, USDA. Going, gone. No Greg Haddish. Chris Hawes, from the Army Corps? Let's see, any notes in the chat? I don't see them. Hopefully we're not too many people are having technical issues. Sunshine, City of Marion Police.
Hi, this is Sunshine McDonald, and I'm with the Marion Police Department, and I'm new this year to IGIC.
Yeah, thanks for joining. And yeah, I'm looking forward to. I don't know if I've talked to too many people who use GIS in police departments, so it'll be interesting to have conversations with you.
Yeah, I was with the City of Cedar Rapids for the last 10 years.
Okay, nice. Ben Wagner, City of Waterloo.
Hey, this is Ben. Yeah, I'm in the engineering department with the City of Waterloo. I serve as kind of the GIS project manager for various projects going on around City of Waterloo.
Nice. Welcome, Ben. Corey Hines, Cedar Falls. Corey on the line. I don't see his name. We'll come back to you if you have a chance to join, Corey. Micah Cutler, I know you're there.
Hi, I'm Micah Cutler. I am a GIS director for Clapsaddle Garber Associates, CGA, their engineering firm. And most of you might know me as I used to be a county coordinator for a million years, most recently in Hardin County. And I'm happy to be your new secretary. Again, it's kind of an old role I'm filling.
Jason Dolph from ASI.
Jason Dolph with Aerial Services up in Cedar Falls.
Then this is Evan Kester. I'm at Casey's General Stores, and as of about 15 minutes, I'll be the past chair. Matt Hohen, or Hohen, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, Matt, from Esri.
Hey, that's all right. Hone, Matt Hone. But account manager with Esri. I work larger cities and counties in Iowa, and excited to be here. Thanks, everybody.
Nice. Are you based out of Iowa, Matt, or somewhere like Kansas City or Minneapolis area?
No, I'm in St. Louis here.
Oh, okay, got you. Nice. Well, yeah, thanks for joining.
Very welcome.
Mark Garrington, are you there? Let's see, any notes? Mark Garrington, if you're talking, we cannot hear you. We're gonna keep going. Joe Drahos, I'm not sure also the last name from DOT.
Yep, no problem. Joe Drahos. Yeah, passenger planner for Iowa Department of Transportation.
Nice. Which department are you in? Because you have there's transportation and traffic isn't there maintenance and traffic and things like that?
Yeah, so that's usually in the highway administration. I'm over in the planning, programming, and modal division. So I work with a lot of our different modes of transportation we have. So aviation, public transit, rail, bike ped. And then, yeah, we do a lot of the traffic counting stuff on our side too. And then
nice.
all of our strategic and long range planning activities over on our side.
Cool. Any brand new interstates coming to Iowa that you can tell us about?
Other than renaming a few, that's about it.
Oh. And BJ's not able to make it, it sounds like. I'm not sure if he'll have a chance to call in or not, but like I said, he had an emergency, wasn't able to attend today. Brad Cutler, the second Cutler on the list from Iowa DOT.
Well, the first Cutler from the DOT, but yeah, that's two Cutlers on the list. Morning, Evan.
Good morning.
So, hi, I'm with the Traffic and Safety Bureau, which would be on the highway side of things, the DOT. Let's see here. I lost a bet way back in the olden days, and that's how I came to be on the IGIC board. And now I just can't get away from you people. I'm like, yeah. So I remember the old days when we used to do these meetings via the ICN and go to schools and libraries and things like that. So I've been on the board for a little while.
Yep, you've nice. Well,
Hey, Brad, you want to feel real old? I took high school classes in the.
Yeah. Good
yeah,
times.
and Josh is no spring chicken anymore. So you might be really old, Brad.
I am really old, but my wife is really young. So
let's see. Josh from Iowa State.
Yeah, Josh Obert, Iowa State University GIS facility. I am the treasurer.
Nice. And helped put on the conference, ITEC conference last year.
Yeah, we'll be getting into that later.
Great. Adam Skibby from University of Iowa.
Yeah, Adam Skibby, not a Cutler. I'm an Aquarius. I enjoy mint chocolate chip ice cream, and I do all kinds of random GIS stuff, from teaching to research to administration at the University of Iowa.
Have you cut your hair yet during quarantine, Adam?
No,
Last time I saw you were saggy.
It's beautiful right now. I'll have to show you guys later. I'll send a picture around.
Okay. Yeah, there's kind of, I think last time we tried to do have the board meeting with video, and it just got a little bit bogged down. So it's definitely more personal when we can see everybody, but global pandemic and everything. Next on the list is Anya from Central College. Anya, are you on the line? If you're talking, we can't hear you, and I don't see your name on the list. So we'll keep going. Bailey from Iowa State. Are you on, Bailey?
I'm here. Bailey Hansen from Iowa State Extension and Outreach. I'm a GIS specialist.
Nice. Well, that's the extent of the new board. So thanks everyone for joining and a short introduction. Next on the list, on the agenda that BJ put together, I'm not sure if people had a chance to review it. I think he sent out a final version yesterday.
Hey, Evan.
Yep, go ahead.
So I need to keep track of the attendees, and I think I've got it. I've definitely, of course, got everyone on the board, and I can see the participants, but
Okay.
there's a few people that are just calling user like generic names, and I don't have names for them. And so if it's okay, I'd like to make sure I have those correct.
Yeah, great idea.
Okay, so there's somebody listed as call. If you're on the phone, can you unmute? Well, can we unmute them? Can somebody unmute them? There's 4 call-in users that have no name.
So call-in users, sound off if you can.
They're still muted. I don't know who can control them getting out. Yeah, they're unmuted.
Yeah, I got him. At least unmuted, but.
Who is this?
Hi, this is Sean. I'm on the phone. I'm one of the numbers, but I'm also logged in online, I think.
Hi, Sean. Thanks. I gotcha.
Yeah, so she's number 9.
Any other callers?
This is Chris Hawes. I'm on the web meeting but called in separately.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm showing up as call-in user 2, maybe.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Awesome. Hey, everybody.
This is Keith Whelan. I'm also calling in and on the WebEx.
And he's 4.
How do you spell his last name?
W-I-E-L-A-N-T.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's in the chat, Mike, if you go farther up.
Well, it's just Keith W.
No, if you go farther up, he introduced himself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gotcha. Thanks. Got it.
And then are we waiting on one more?
Oh, Paula is piped up. She said she can't unmute herself, so Paula's chat.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good. You can go on, Evan. Thanks.
Okay, great. And then you got everybody else that's Micah, you said?
I do. If anyone sees the minutes and they were there and I don't have their name, I'll just ask you guys to let me know.
Great. Hey, Josh, do you mind muting, I think, Chris's phone, maybe?
Oh, yeah, there. I unmuted all the. Yeah.
Or no, can you mute them? So there was someone was.
Oh, yes, they're
background noise.
Yeah, they're all muted again.
Okay. I see Chris Hawes is still unmuted.
Yeah, but he's in as a call-in user. There's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
It's one of the fun things when you have to call in. It's screwy that way.
Okay, that works. You got it under control. Thanks.
Yep.
So I don't know, is there some official formality to change from one board to the other? Do you know, as opposed to just voting
Hey,
for
this
new
is
board
Lawrence. I
members?
have a question. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
As far as appointing the executive board positions, did the board do that online or privately? Because usually I thought we did this on the first board meeting of the year, or the third board meeting, I should say.
The executive or the whole board?
The executive, like the vice chair and the secretary, I know has changed. I didn't know if that was done in a private meeting or over the online or something. As usually it's done more in a public setting.
I would echo what Lauren said. This is Micah. Yeah, usually at the first meeting of July, we have people put their names in, if they've already done that, or they do it at this moment, and then we do a vote.
Yeah. So I think we have to. I think we have to vote on it. But
okay.
There was just singles for everything, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Adam. I mean, that's how it generally happens. Is we do have to make it formal, but it's so hard finding volunteers to step up that it ends up being by default. And then I believe, to answer your question, though, Evan, I think somebody needs to move to seat the new board, and I think we just go through it as a motion.
Okay, so we'll have to seat the new board, and then since the executive committee comes from the board, and we only got one volunteer for each position, we'll just make a motion to approve each of those people. Does that sound?
Well, I think perhaps we call for volunteers one more time at the meeting, just in case. Because it's all done over email before, correct?
The votes?
For executive committee or executive board. Just make sure nobody wants in still.
Right, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll make a motion to approve the new board.
Second. Or motion it.
I'll second that. This is Brad.
Okay, and then all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. If there's anyone opposed, do you mind making a note in the chat box? Okay, and there are no nays, so motion passes. Okay, and then we did reach out to the new board. I'm getting a ton of feedback, or kind of background noise from somebody. That sounds a lot better. Okay, thanks. So that motion passed. Now, is there anybody other than, the new two positions that are available? Well, I guess treasurer is available too, technically then. other than the people that have already volunteered for the executive board position, is there any interest from any other new board members to be the vice chair, the secretary, or the treasurer? And I think you can either type something in the chat box, or I think there's a little raising your hand option. I'm getting no's from people. All right, so I think we'd make a motion to approve. Let's see. BJ as the, well, BJ's already chair. Make a motion to approve Penny as the vice chair, Micah Cutler as the secretary, and Josh Obrick as the treasurer. If someone wants to make a motion.
Evan, this is Brad. I'll make the motion to accept that slate of candidates for the next executive committee.
Okay, great.
This is Adam Skibby. I second.
All right. All approved? Or all in favor, say A. Or type it.
Hey.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay, please, or type it. All right, it passes unanimously, so we have a new executive board. Thank you, everybody. Hey, yeah, claps. Thanks, Ron. So BJ was able to send the agenda out, I believe, last night, maybe this morning. If you had a chance to look over it, is there anything that anybody else wants to add to the agenda?
I did have a question. This is Micah. We'll get down to it, but is conference exchange update mean like the mid-year conference or the June conference? Is that what that is referring to?
We had talked about, we came up with an idea over the last year to, like if, say Minnesota has a IGIC meet or a statewide conference. Yeah.
Okay, so do we need to add to the agenda? Is it too early or to discuss anything about next year's conference, or because of the way things are, there's nothing to talk about yet anyway, because we don't know anything?
We'll be discussing that a little bit.
Okay. Under other projects, conferences, et cetera, et cetera.
This is Amy. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
I would like to scratch the second agenda item for me. I don't know. I think there was a miscommunication. I was just gonna talk about the conference exchange and some online conferences, how the different organizations are dealing with the pandemic, and give you some updates on that. Like it was all one thing.
Okay, so that sounds good. But you still want to talk about the exchange, Amy?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It looks like there's no new agenda items then. Sounds good. Approve agenda. I motion to approve. Anybody second? Or I'll second. Ron. There we go.
Well, Ron's not on the board, so technically he can't motion or second. So I'll second.
Okay, great. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Great. Thank you. Oh, I made the initial motion, Micah. Okay, on to the treasurer's report. Josh.
Okay, so this will be treasurer's report / site license update. If you look on the screen, it should see a printout from our bank account. Since the last meeting, all we've had is site license dealings. So there was a bunch of bunch of deposits and then the check actually out to Esri itself. So our current balance is $28,713.02. Right now, still waiting on 3 schools checks. There was two of them I knew were coming after July 1st because they had asked to put it on the new year, and so that's fine. I just haven't made it into my office to look for them recently, but I'll be going in on Tuesday and grabbing those. I'm also going to be getting taxes together for this past year, and we'll be dealing with the tax preparer on that. I would like to update the Quicken software that I was using because now it's to a point that it was so old that it won't run on my new computer. So I'd like to buy a new one of that, which is I think at most $50. So I'm not sure what the process is to get that approved by everybody. So that is the treasurer side of that.
Real quick, can we go ahead and just do this?
Sure.
I motion to approve expenditures for new Quicken software for Josh.
Who is speaking? I don't know your guys' voices that well.
Skibby.
Skibby, thanks, Adam.
And Evan Kester seconds.
Okay.
All approved? Or all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Okay. All right. And then the taxes, the cost for the taxes was approved a couple of years ago just to pay it every year, I believe. So there's nothing that needs to be done with that. So going to the site license, you'll see that the cost is $60,500, which is $5,000 less than what it was in the past. I forgot to look this up. The portion that IGIC is going to cover for this year is $4,823, which is because of how Esri redid their site license. We had, I believe, 6 schools that dropped off our site license to do their own small licenses, just because it was more of a benefit to them for that. And so it was agreed upon from IGIC to pay the portion that would cover the remaining balance of what was owed to Esri. So going forward, you're looking at what to charge the small schools, and actually all schools, again, going forward to try to balance out the $60,500 to make it cost zero share. So, that's all I've got for treasurers and site license. Any questions?
Yeah, will the amounts that the schools pay now to balance it out change much? Or are the numbers going to be based on what we decided in the last year?
I have to take it'll still be kind of leveled so that there'll be essentially 4 levels, with Iowa State 1 level, UNI another level, Kirkwood as a 3rd level, and then all the other small schools. And that's only because of looking at usage, number of students that are at the university, which is what Esri uses to kind of calculate what they charge for schools. And so it was all kind of looped together to do that. So that's kind of what the levels are. And so then we just got to figure out exactly what the cost is per level.
Okay. So we'll go back to revisit that at some point.
Yeah. So there'll be I'll get the ed group together to take a look at, what the costs should be. I got to punch some numbers, but it's not something that is going to be done right away. I mean, we've got some time. I hope to get the changed numbers to the schools by the end of the calendar year. So
okay, great, sounds good. Was there any more on the treasurer's report?
No, I'm good. Not unless there's any questions.
Gone. All right. ITAG virtual conference report.
I think I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Oh. This is Evan Kester, and I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Josh seconded.
Okay, I don't mean to be a stickler, but can Josh really second and approve his own report?
Adam Skibby seconded it. There you go.
What'd you say?
Adam seconded it.
James. We'll put James down. I'll put James. I see James. He said he tried to second. There we go. I'm just revisionist history here. Never mind.
No, you're good. All right, and we had a bunch of yeas and no nays, so it passed. Okay, and then either Matt or Josh.
So I'll start, and then Matt can chime in because he's got a couple other things too. So this will kind of be virtual conference for this past year / 2021 ITAG conference. So the virtual conference seemed to run well. I sent out the link to the recording and to the presentations that were that I had received individually. If anybody would like those links, you can email me and then I can get those back to you. Or I need to probably try to put those links on the website. I don't think I've done that yet. I think the most we had at any one point that I saw was 72 people. Which honestly I think is a very good number. So if you hadn't filled out the survey that Matt had sent out afterwards, please do if you can find that email. I haven't looked at those results, but Matt, I don't know if you had.
Yeah, I've looked at them and they're all pretty good. There's the typical things like, well, the LiDAR DEM presentation wasn't very good, or wasn't that relevant to me, but the other stuff was good. So you're going to get things all over the board. But overall, everything was pretty positive, and I can share those too with the board. I can kind of summarize everything or share the link or whatever. So, but I'll let you continue.
Okay, yeah. So really, there's not a whole lot else with that. So now for 2021 ITAG. If anybody wants to be on the conference planning committee, please contact myself or Matt. We're chairing it again since there wasn't one last year. One advantage is that we have a lot of it hashed out already that we're going to just turn over to the next one. So if you're looking to be a part of the committee and don't want to make all the hard decisions, now would be a really good time to get on. So we'll be having our first meeting probably in the next month and a half, probably. Matt and I need to discuss that.
Yeah, sounds good.
So the one thing that we're still working on now is Matt has been in contact with the hotel to get the addendum to move last year's conference to 2024 due to the pandemic situation. And so I'll let him discuss that.
Yeah, so I got an addendum. It took a while for them to get an addendum to us, the people from the hotel, but that's okay. We've been sitting on it for a while now too. Basically, it's just like a one-page document that also mentions something about, you know, pandemics and what the CDC recommends and all this other stuff, because nobody had that in any of anyone's plans or contracts in the past. There is like a force majeure part of a lot of contracts, which, you know, and I don't know what that comes in. There's a lot of things that kind of fall into that category. Like if there was a flood or a tornado or I don't know, a world war or anything, you know, that like would have us, you know, not have the conference, then we can kind of just both, you know, say it didn't happen and go our separate ways. This year was a little odd, as a lot of things have been odd this year. So they kind of just updated that a little bit, and I sent it to Christy Harshbarger is the attorney for ISAC, which is the Iowa State Association of Counties. They help us, you know, with a lot of things. It's kind of like having free access to an attorney, which is nice. And she gave a few. She said it's pretty good. There might be one thing to consider, and I kind of went back and forth on her a little bit. But she thinks that the document I think will be fine overall. But I can send that document. And then also a little bit of our conversation, how we went back and forth a little bit, so we can kind of get some, you know, some context. But basically, we're just, you know, this year was a wash. We didn't do anything. We're not being penalized, and we'll just move it to 2024. They did bump up the food and room price a little bit, but that's just what they have been doing because it's 4 years from now. We can't expect the same prices, you know, 4 years from now or whatever. So it's all pretty fair, I think, but I'll send it out and with those notes and to the board, and then I think we can sign it. The IGIC board will have to do it as well. We'll send it to James, I guess, and ISAC too. So, Josh, anything I'm missing, or does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the food and cost going up, but then like the number of hotel rooms is not going up. That's staying the same. So
that's true. Yeah, thank you.
So that's I know because I know that's one sticking point that we've run into in the past. So that's not going to be an issue with that. But yeah, it's just that force majeure. We were looking at that when this whole thing was started because of when the hotel was not playing nice, and it was. Yeah, so there's a lot of fishy stuff involved with that. So, but yeah, they'll have to go through both boards to be approved, and then both chairs will have to sign it. So,
okay.
What is the date for the 2021 conference?
good question.
That's a good question. Let me spin through my calendar here real quick and see if I even put it on my calendar. It's not
I mean,
my calendar.
It's going to be online anyway, right? So does it even matter?
Hopefully we can meet in person. I bet it's the week of the 14th, Josh. What do you think? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right. I got it. Yeah, June 14th, the week of June 14th. So, you know, workshops on Tuesday the 15th, conference on the 16th through the 18th.
Yeah, I guess Adam brought up something. I didn't even think about the status of COVID and the conference in 2021, which I don't think we necessarily have to have a conversation about now, but
yeah, trust me, that's sitting in the back of my brain right now. So
okay,
trying to not talk to that part right now.
This is Adam again. I think, yeah, I mean, you guys have already done all the work, and that's where we're in good shape. I mean, this is all last year's redone if we can do it. And if not, we've at least got some sort of plan for what we can do, you know, when we can't. So.
Yeah, and so part of that addendum that Matt mentioned with the force majeure, it's more of just a clarification as to when that clause can be enabled. So, but one thing is that we're trying to keep a working relationship with the hotel, and we're trying to, make sure that everything benefits both parties involved. Well, all three parties involved, ISIT, IGIC, and the hotel. So.
Yeah, having that good relationship with the hotel is good. The screwy thing this year is, I think, when they basically because no one could go to hotels, I think they kind of furloughed or let go the people that we'd been working with. So then we worked with Brandon, who we'd never talked to before at all. So I think it took him a while to figure out who we even were. So that was kind of screwy, but I think overall cooler heads prevailed, and they saw the realistic answer here was to just push it off. So that's good.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stressful situations. So thanks for managing, Josh, for planning, but also managing that relationship with the hotel.
Micah, I'm just going to point out, if you hadn't picked that name, I'm sure this entire meeting wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I blame Matt for that.
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay. Is that everything from the ITAG conferences?
Yeah, I don't have anything else right now.
Okay. I would encourage everyone to participate in the planning of the conference, because it's enjoyable, but also the conference is, you can have an impact on the conference. So if you like certain aspects of conferences in the past or other conferences that you've been to, you can have an active role in kind of creating the direction that the conference goes. So I'd recommend participating, because it's it pays off, and it's enjoyable, and it's already been, the theme and some of those things have already been planned. So it'll be a good one to get your feet wet if you're new to the conference committee or to IGIC. Because we're like keeping the same theme and everything, right, Josh?
As of right now, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's good news. Yeah, it'd be a good one for everybody if you're interested. Okay. Then the next item that BJ had was committee assignments, and I think he was looking to. Looks like a list of the committees that IGIC has had in the past. And there's been some have been more active than others. Some of them haven't been active at all, I think, in the last couple of years. And so BJ, I think, kind of wanted to have a conversation on the relevance of some of them and get people assigned to lead a few of them, or maybe just start having conversations with groups of people who are interested in being on these committees. So I'm not sure if there is any representation currently on the call. I know, like, Next Gen 911, Lawrence, if you're still on, you've been kind of spearheading that historically.
Yeah, it's that's a committee that needs to be there. It's more of a informational thing. We revived that committee several years ago because of changes coming up because of the next generation 911. There was a 911 committee many years ago that had no participation, died, and so we revived it, and then that kind of morphed. The state took that and went how would I say it? I think it was one of those things that really the state needed to spearhead, and so they created a committee of that they chose for themselves, and so this became more of a not almost like a pseudo committee where there's really no we're not really actively meeting. There's not really anybody that's really on it. I just kind of report what the state decides what's going on with Next Generation 911 with the state. So it needs to be there, and maybe it just needs to be just an action item on each agenda, so we can report what's going on concerning Next Generation 911. I don't know if anybody has any questions, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
This is Adam Skibby again. This is something that, I mean, the relevance and whether or not these remain committees is something we talk about, what, every 18 months, 2 years, 2.5 years. And I mean, the gist of it was we just decided not to really get rid of anything, right? I believe the last time, and just sort of use as we need to, or like Lawrence just mentioned, like if there's nothing, we just report on what there is and move on, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not, like I said, I just kind of took this over from BJ at the end or overnight, but I think there's IGIC has a fair number of people attending the meetings and a fair number of people on the listserv that benefit from sharing information and knowing people on other parts of the state or adjacent cities or counties or whatever. That we a lot of times we know each other through IGIC and we communicate concerns and projects and ideas and news. And I think BJ kind of wanted to maybe just formalize those groups of people a little bit more. So I think it might be better to follow up via email. And I'll make an effort to reach out to him and help him maybe organize some of these committees and organize conversations with interested parties. But unless there's any, like the education committee usually has its own action item on the list related to the site license. And they do other things, but I'll probably skip the committee assignments and circle back with BJ, and the two of us can reach out to individuals to kind of start forming groups to have some of these conversations.
And then the one thing we might say too, though, is for those of you new to the board that want to be sort of involved more on a particular topic, these are some of the committees that we do have, or at least some of the concepts that we sort of wrap our heads around and work towards. And of those, we do have education is pretty active there. If you have interest in geodetics, remote sensing, we do have places where you could fit in, basically. So if you have interest, reach out to somebody. We can at least get you in touch with people in active participation in those groups, and then make those contacts, and there's a place for you.
That's a good note. And like I mentioned with the conference, if anyone does have interest, there's a lot of free reign and ability for you to start organizing and kind of steer a committee the way you want to get it done, if it's something that either is of interest to you personally or related to your work. So BJ and I will probably circle back on the committee assignments and committees in general. So Amy, if you're on the line still, do you want to give us a conference exchange update?
Sure. So back in October, at our October meeting, there was interest in setting up a conference exchange. And the idea of that would be like we would send one of our delegates from IGIC to another conference, say in Utah, and then in exchange, we would give them free conference registration and they would give us free conference registration. So then throughout the winter, I worked with I'm part of the America View remote sensing consortium, and I talked with them to see if people would be interested in a conference exchange, and they were, and so we were kind of going back and forth, and then the pandemic kind of happened, and so things have been on pause. But I had gotten some interest, just wondering, or I told them about the group that I'd been meeting with about our conference online, and I also posted all the links that Josh sent out online so that people could, you know, view our conference and stuff like that. And then from the other side, I also asked them, you know, what are you guys doing? So I found out Utah is going to also have an online conference option this year. That'll be, I think it's September 3rd and 4th. And I can put the link to that in the chat box. And then Ohio currently is still hoping to have an online, or I mean an in-person conference, and that's September 21st through the 23rd in Columbus, Ohio. They seemed, the representative from Ohio didn't seem certain if that was going forward exactly or not, but as of now, they haven't canceled. I guess that's the point on that. New Mexico is kind of paused for this year. Louisiana is postponing their conference until 2021. Indiana has also canceled their 2020 conference, and they're going to have their next one in Muncie, Indiana in 2021. And currently, two conferences that happen in New York on alternate years. There's like a geospatial summit, and then there's also the New York State GIS Association conference. And the geospatial summit was canceled partly due to the fact that it's really a networking conference, and so that just wasn't going to work quite the same way in a virtual environment. The New York State GIS Association is kind of considering right now their options if they want to do a virtual environment or something else. So that's an update on some different so the major conference opportunity for us to participate in would be the UGIC, Utah Geographic Information Council conference in September. I'll get that put up in the chat box if you guys are interested. Any questions?
That's virtual, you said, right? The Utah one?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Were they, and the ones that you said were canceled, so are any of those states doing virtual ones to replace the canceled conferences?
Not that I know of. They just kind of were taking a pause or just postponing till next year for the most part, it seemed like.
Okay, great. I wonder if it would make sense to, closer to the date of those conferences, to send out an email to the listserv just to share that there's a resource that they could attend if they want to.
Sure, and yep, I'll do that.
Great, I appreciate it. Okay, the next item on the agenda was crossed out. The pandemic response, which brings us to the end, except for other projects, any conferences, representatives, or regional user group information. We didn't add any more items to the agenda, but did anyone else have any issues that they wanted to bring up or questions? Maybe like Matt, if Chow has been meeting. I don't think anybody's really been meeting, to be honest, though, but Matt said, I think the Illinois conference will be virtual. Do you know when that is, Matt?
Yeah, I think that is like September, I think. Someone will have to maybe double check that, or I can send out something to the group too. But now I'm blanking on the guy's name from Sidwell. What's his name? Man, I forget his name. He called me and talked to me and was saying that, you know, maybe we'd want to help participate in that conference. And I don't know if that would be, you know, like help give a presentation or something. But I'll follow up with him and see if they're still on track for that. And yeah, someone else posted. I think Paula helped out with Ilgista stuff on the chat there. You can see, but yeah, Bill Wetzel. Thanks, Matt. That was really embarrassing. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he said that maybe we want to help with the presentation, but I'll follow up with him and see if they still need, any help presenting, or if they're good, or if they're changing, or whatever's happening. So, thanks.
And Paula said that Magic is having a online conference October 5th and October 6th. She says, let's see. Magic is pleased to partner with the Illinois GIS Association virtual conference. We're excited to invite you to attend. 2020 ILGISA virtual conference is October 5th and 6th, 2020, all online. It's offering a special discounted rate for Magic members. Hey, there you go. So I suggest joining Magic if you want to join the conference. $150 includes access to the entire virtual conference, one workshop, virtual exhibit hall, networking activities, and more, exclamation point.
And Magic membership is free, so that would be a good thing to sign up for Magic and get a big discount on your conference.
Yeah. Nice. I think I'm going to reach, so this sounds like a couple items maybe on the communications and outreach committee that we could have a list of, we can compile a list of a couple of these conferences and make sure that the IGIC listserv is aware of opportunities for online conference over the next year. Because I doubt too many people are going to be meeting in person over the next year. So if anybody has any more information on conferences, feel free to send me those. Again, this is Evan Kester. And we'll make sure to include them on a regular, hopefully a regular list of conferences to attend. Any other conferences, regional group reports, or projects that anyone's working on? There were a couple mini grant requests that came in the last month, but I think they're kind of on hold as far as how they're going to work out. So there wasn't anything to report on those. Nobody else? Last chance. Oh, Lawrence, were you saying something?
No.
Okay. Oh, thanks, Matt. Matt was, Amy, Matt Home mentioned he'd be interested in helping set up a relationship with Kansas as far as conference exchange, if we're interested. So thanks for putting that out there, Matt. Okay, and thanks, Sean, as far as the mini grant. So I don't think we have any more.
I got one thing, Evan.
Okay, go for it.
We still do need 2 more representatives on that are there's 2 open spots on the board yet.
Okay.
One for state and one for regional.
Okay. Yeah, regional has always been hard to get because there aren't too many. It seems like there aren't too many regional organizations out there. Oh, and John is on. John DeGroot says, I think we're going to put a mini grant with Iowa DNR soon, waiting for feedback from Iowa DNR and their partner, the Army Corps. And by we, he means Geotree Center at UNI. Okay, great. Thanks, John. We'll look forward to that submission. And then as far as what Josh mentioned, 2 open board positions. If anybody from the state that is on this call would like to be a member of the board, I recommend emailing myself or BJ or Penny or Josh or Micah, anybody on the executive board. Or if you know somebody that you think would fill that role well, feel free to throw their names in the hat and we can twist their arms.
Oh, yeah, and in regards to Travis's, yeah, so go ahead and send them to Micah and then we'll get those updated online.
Yeah, and what Travis is talking about are
board alternates.
Generally, yeah, board alternates. And generally how those have worked in the past is if someone's unable to attend an IGIC meeting, preferably they send the board alternate so that we can have a full board and a good conversation, and when decisions need to be made sure that we have someone able to do that. So if everyone who's on the board would like to try to find an alternate that could represent them when they're not here, send those to Micah Cutler. And Micah, is your email on? Do you mind putting your email in the text box just to make sure everyone has it?
And just so the new members are aware, we don't have to approve those alternates. They're not voted on or anything, so just make sure it's somebody you're comfortable with taking sort of, taking your place and taking your voice.
Yeah, they just need to be in the same area. So they don't even have to, you don't even have to work with them necessarily.
And when you say area, you mean like state government, municipal?
Like, so like county has a county, state has a state, university has a university.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I think that concludes the agenda. And then I've given everybody a couple chances to throw or mention any more items. So would someone like to make a motion to approve or to conclude the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn. This is Brandon.
This is Adam Skibby. I second that motion.
Before we adjourn, I have a question.
Go for it.
And this has probably been sent out. When's the next meeting date? I'd just like to put that in the minutes.
I think we've always.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
that's
good
what
call.
it said. I just don't have it at my fingertips.
No, you're right. I don't think it's been. I would guess that it's not been set.
Okay.
But we generally have it. Is this the third week of July? Yeah,
Yes.
it seems like we've been having them generally the third week of the month.
Yeah, it's usually been I think it's the third Wednesday. It's just for July we went to the fourth because of the users conference being last week.
So the next conference would be October 21st, or next meeting?
That sounds right.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last couple of years, we basically left it until the new chair takes over to make sure that their schedule accommodates when it should be.
Okay, so I'll just leave it October 2021 or 2020.
Set up next meetings. And I'll talk to BJ since he's going to be in charge over the next year. Make a note that needs to get decided. And I'm sure he'll send out the meeting invites for the next year.
Okay, no problem. And so we did have a motion from Brandon and a second by Adam to adjourn the meeting. Since I interrupted.
Nope, you're good. Thanks. All approved, say A, please, or aye. A.
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Nay. That wasn't a nay. That was just me offering the word. Okay, motion passes. Thanks everyone for attending. Thanks to the new board for participating. Hopefully BJ can get back as soon as possible. And have a good day. Keep washing your hands and don't cough on anybody.
Stay safe, everybody.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Thanks.